We will talk right now about a very important verse in the Quran, and I think most of you heard about it. This is Surah 4 verse 34, the one ordering men that they can beat their wives if they suspect them that they might disobey. So we will start from the beginning, and we will see the Quran saying the following. Men are the protectors and the maintainers of women. So Allah is making things very clear. Men are the one who protect the women, and they are the one who maintain them. So they are in charge of that. And what else? Now Allah is explaining why. Because Allah has given the one more strength than the other. So the reason of that, because Allah, He gave the man more strength from the women. And what else? And because they support from their means, and because they pay money and spend money over the women, so Allah is giving them the charge too. So there is two reasons. Number one, because they are strong, they have muscles. Number two, because they have the money. Now Muhammad himself, he did marry Khadija, and he used to work for her, and she was in charge. She was his boss. And Muhammad, he used to make living out of the money of Khadija. She is the one, she is feeding him. Does that mean that Khadija, she was the protectors and the maintainer of Muhammad because she have the money? Question. And you know, if the man, he spend money over his house, what a big deal. Even birds, they feed their kids. The women, she is not sitting in your house doing nothing. You are not doing a favor for her by giving her food and by spending money in the house. You are doing your part, she is doing her part. Actually, the women's job is a lot harder. And you know, these days, women, they are making money, and some of them even they are making more than their husband. So making money cannot be a reason that you will be the maintainer of the house or you will be the one in charge. And having muscles, not all men, they are stronger than women. And there's a lot of men these days, they are gays even, which means men, they can be like females. They are unnormal. So being a male will not make you better than anyone. Having a male private part will not make you better than anyone. But I hope the case will stop in there. No. We go down and we'll see that's Allah saying that if you and those women, as two, those women who was part of fear, disloyalty, and ill conduct. So if those women, you fear their loyalty and ill conduct, you fear, and be careful in here. You fear, it means they are not doing anything bad yet, but you have the fear. So suspect them, you are suspicion about them. This is giving you the right to do the following. First, you admonish them. You talk to them. Well, I like this one. There's no problem with this one. Next, you stop having sex with them. Stop sharing bed. And somebody will say, well, this is not a punishment really. It's a punishment for the man more than the woman. The fact, no. Because the Muslim man, he have 4 wives. If he stop having sex with one of them, what a big deal. He have still 3 left. If you have tire in your car, in the trunk, and you have 4 tires in the wheels, you don't think about a tire in the trunk until you have a flat tire. So she can be just a spare tire for a while. And it's up to him to decide when he will remember her. So it's a very bad punishment to her. And you know what? If a woman, her husband is not sleeping with her for long, maybe she will go and do something bad. Because women, they need sex too, not only men. So what kind of punishment might cause the women to do adultery? And think about sin. If you don't want her, let her go, divorce her, not jail her in her house, in her room. And by the way, in the Quran it says, وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ, It's not only leaving them in their beds. No, it is jailing them in their rooms. So you jail her in her room and you stop sleeping with her. This is can make and cause big depression for the women. And what is next after that? Allah saying, and last, beat them lightly. Now the Quran is in front of me, and this is the verse. As you see, doesn't say one word. It's like lightly. Where is lightly? I want to see lightly. Where is lightly? From where Muslims they get the word lightly? I'm just trying to get to know how Muslims they get those words. This is the Quran. Look with me, okay? فَعُوذُوهُنْ وَهْجُرُوهُنَّ فِي الْمَضَاجِعِ وَاضْرُبُوهُنْ وَاضْرُبُوهُنْ. Where is the lightly? It's not there. So Muslims are not honest even when they translate the Quran, and this is something we use to it. This is why always I say I don't approve any Islamic translation. I take it just to show from their book how they lie about it, not because I approve it. So if we go down now, the Quran saying beat them, but there is no lightly. We prove this one. And just to show everyone that we don't explain the Quran up to us. We don't, and we will not. Let us go to Ibn Kathir explanation, and we will see if really the Quran saying beat them lightly or not. Now this is a woman. She came to the Prophet. She was complaining about her husband because he did beat her in her face. Here we go. In Ibn Kathir he's saying a woman, she came to the Prophet complaining about her husband, tashku, which means she complained about her husband beating her. Tashku zawjaha. And latamaha, which means he did box her in her face. This guy is boxer, latamaha. It's not only slamming her face, he is hitting hard in her face. You will see Muslims saying a Muslim man is not allowed to beat his wife in her face even. But look at this case. This is why the surah came down, the reason of this surah. So the woman, she is complaining to the Prophet about her husband boxing her face, and she is asking for justice. Then the Prophet, he said, okay, justice. Then Allah right away, guys, sound like Allah is waiting in the front of the door of Muhammad. And Allah right away, he sent down a surah saying the men, they are in control of women, or the men, they are the maintainers or protectors of women. So he is shutting the mouth of this woman from complaining. And she came back without qasas, which means without punishment for her husband, which means the Prophet, he approved what he did and he did not punish him, because the surah gave him the right to do so. The surah gave him the right to do so. So when Muslim says to you, oh, you can use toothbrush, a stick, this is all is a garbage. And you will hear them a lot saying about miswak. Miswak is a very long root used in Saudi Arabia, and the miswak you see now, because it's became very expensive, because all Muslims want to buy it, and it's very limited as how many you can get. It's very small, short piece, but this is not the real size of this root. These roots can go for 3-4 meters, and there are roots exist in the floor in Saudi Arabia. So, and they used to beat the donkeys and the camel with them. So imagine you beat a camel with toothbrush. This doesn't make sense. And look at this. This is Ibn Kathir. The man, he beat his wife in her face. He is harming her big time. Otherwise she will not come to the Prophet crying and complaining, and she is asking for punishment. not complaining only. She is asking for justice, which means because she was hurt badly, she came and she walked for a long distance to come to the house of Muhammad. Maybe he can do something to her husband, who did beat her in her face and almost he break her face. But Muhammad, he did not do anything. Instead, on top of that, she came back and she have a surah to support her husband to beat her again. Because after this surah, no woman she can complain from her husband beating her. When a woman she start complaining, the man he will say, shut up. Allah said to me, I can beat you. This is really scary. Any woman wanna get beating? Convert to Islam.